Next up is Hilltop 1, so there's like 4 key things in this level, so let's start with like the beginner strats kinda. So you wanna 1-tap up onto this ground here, and then you wanna 6-tap, and in midair you wanna press left a few times so that you don't hit the bad nick on the ground, and hold down to roll. Like this. And so a lot of people, when they do this, they jump here, but this isn't very consistent, so I recommend jumping at the end of this slope in here instead on this micro slope here, because you'll consistently make it over as long as your speed is not super bad. And then continue by running over to this seesaw and jump onto it, and then jump up and over this rock, and okay, and over these spikes. When you land, you wanna stop and 6-tap. And this slope here, you can easily get sub-pixeled. Let me see if I can get it to happen here. I have very good sub-pixels here, so it won't happen, but let me try to get a different one. Like that. So you see, I just lose a bunch of speed. There's a very easy way to prevent this like 90% of the time, so if you hold left like at the middle of this slope, you'll almost never like lose speed from sub-pixels. It will always be you losing speed from holding left, but it's still enough to make it up, so you don't need to worry that much about it. And this is like a very, very nice trick to know, because it helps a lot with this level, especially when you're going for like more optimized times. So after this, you want to run over here, don't hit this guy, and you want to jump on this spring. And you can speed cap or you can not speed cap. There's not that big of a difference. It's pretty much the same, but I think not speed capping is like a little bit faster, maybe. You will want to speed cap eventually anyways, because if you don't, you'll hit this rock, which does lose time. So you want to speed cap at some point. Like somewhere around here, and just jump on the seesaw. Jump on this one, and then you can go on this seesaw. And now for this zip, this is like one of the easiest zips in the game. You want to walk off this platform, but not too early. If you walk off too early, there's a very high chance you can die when you zip. So you want to wait until it's like somewhere in the middle of this crevice here, and then you want to walk off, and you want to face left midair so that you're facing left to do the zip. And to zip, you want to wait until this lava is almost off screen, so where like the rings counter is underneath it, and then you can zip by holding left or tapping left, whatever. And this is, I believe, a 6-frame window to zip, so it's a pretty lenient trick. You should not have very many issues with it. After zipping, one of 2 things can happen. Let me see if I can get the fast one. So either one, you get stopped by this wall here, or you can pass it. If you get stopped by it, you would just walk over to you would just face right and spin dash to the spring, which I'll show in a second. But if you get this one, you want to hold right and stop, and then spin dash over to the right, and you want to jump into the ceiling. Like that. But if you get the slow one, like this, you just face right, spin dash, and hold right. Now, you will notice I have 0 rings, right? So there's a few ways to fix this, or to do this with 0 rings. So the first option is the safest, is to just get rings. Just grab these rings here. But this is slow, so unless you're really nervous or something, you're on a good run and you don't want to risk it, I would recommend not doing this, but I mean, you just go up here and grab these. Thank you for the follow, whoever just followed. Broken Hyperlink, thank you for the follow. So you wanna grab these, but instead of doing that, there's two other ways you can do this. So you jump into the ceiling, and you walk over here. Now, the easier way is to wait for this wall to rise up a little bit, and then you want to jump from this, like, kind of like pit here in the ground. I don't know if you can see it, it's like kind of sloped, right? So you want to jump from the middle, and you want to hold right so that you hit this rock and land on this ground up here. So, kind of like this. And after doing this, you want to run, and you want to jump and grab these rings. And as soon as you land, you need a spin dash so that you get through this gap here in the wall. Like that. The slightly faster way to do it is you still do this, but instead of running, you want to stop. And then you want to spin dash and jump into the ceiling. And don't roll. If you roll here after jumping into the ceiling, this won't work. If your spin dash is fast enough, you'll collect the ring. And this will let you survive hitting the lava. And then you just spin dash. And lastly, so with this slope, there's three things that can happen. There's two common ones and one very rare thing. And it's all tied to cell pixels and whatever, but this is the most common one, where you just kind of go like forward, kind of like on like a diagonal, like an upwards diagonal, 45-degree angle. The second one is where you go directly up, and the third one is where you just get stopped by the slope, which is the slowest one. So I'd say if you want to, you can pause to see what you get. So on this, obviously, I get the good one. If you get this one, you want to wait until you're around here, like a bit under the peak of this this wall, and then you want to speed cap. And when you land, you want to wait until you hit the monitor, and then you spin dash. Let me see if I can get the bad one. So this is the bad one, where you just go straight up. So if you get this and you pause and you see you're gonna get this, you just want to hold right. Make sure you don't hold right too late though, because if you do, you're gonna like not get onto this loop. Let me show you what I mean. Like this. If you get this, just stop and spin dash, and then just kind of run to the level, I guess. And the last one, I don't think I'm gonna be able to show because you need really bad subpixels for it. So I don't know. I can try to get it, I guess. But okay, so like what happens is you just get stopped by the slope like that. Except you just straight up go to a complete stop, and you don't have to jump or anything. You just get stopped. If that happens, you'd want to like I guess like go on this, break this and spin dash, and go to the end. So ideally with this route, you're trying to get a 40 or a 41. And that's pretty much it for like the beginner strats in this level. So we'll go over the more advanced stuff now. So this advanced route requires very fast execution at the beginning, and that's key because you're trying to make a global platform cycle. So there is a backup if you don't make it, but it's harder for most people. So but yeah, I'll explain it. So the beginning is the same. And the way you know if you're on pace to make the cycle is if this platform is going up still, like just barely, like it just started going up. That means you're on pace to make the cycle. So you gotta stop and spin dash. And there's two ways to do this. You can either do the slightly I mean, it's not faster, it's just easier, I guess. You can either get like a high kind of launch and land directly on the seesaw, or you can get the smaller, okay, well, not like that. Or you can do the thing I told you to do for more consistency, the thing I explained where you hold in the middle of the slope so that you don't get subpixeled here. Okay, that was too early. Like around here. And then you can just jump on the seesaw. This is, for this to work though, you need to be faster at the beginning, so keep that in mind. But you need to jump on the seesaw. And you need to do a 5-tap. This is the first, I believe, instance of a 5-tap being used in this run. And you'll see, just in general, they're very rare. Like, you don't see them very often. But this 5-tap needs to be imperfect. If you have a perfect 5-tap, you will not be able to do the next step. But generally, getting a perfect 5-tap's very difficult anyways, so it's not, you don't need to worry about it too much. And if you made the platform cycle, you'll just run onto this. That was not a very good 5-tap, but you will have 1 or 2 frames. I don't know why it changes, but sometimes you might have 1 frame, sometimes you have 2 for this jump. And what I look at as a visual cue is when I'm in the middle of these trees and there's like kind of like, it's hard to see, but there's a little micro slope here where the ground kind of goes up a little. You want to jump on that. And if you do it correctly, you can skip that first seesaw. This saves 2 seconds, so... Now, this zip is the same, but there is an extended zip, which I'll explain in a second. So let me just get this. Okay, I got the bad one, whatever. Okay, I missed it. I just changed my subpixels there a bit. So with this route, you're aiming for sub 40 ideally. Ideally like a 30, well the best you can get is 35, but in a second I'll show you another optimization that can be done right now. So there's a faster zip you can do here, but it's a well, quote unquote double frame perfect. So you want to walk off and face against the wall this time instead of facing away from it, and you want to hold right against the wall for just a little bit, so that you kind of, you're not really, I mean, I guess you're manipulating your subpixels a little bit, but it's not like, it doesn't make this 100% consistent. So now you're looking for one of 3 frames, and 2 of them are kind of, one of them is very inconsistent, one of them is kind of inconsistent, and the other one is fairly consistent. So the first frame is this one. What I look for is the rings counter is like above. It's still fully in the lava, right? So this is the first frame. If you get this frame, you want to zip. You want to hold left. That's 1 frame late until this frame. And what I use to identify this frame is this ball. This green ball is still fully on screen. That's what I use to identify it. And sometimes you will zip past this wall and all the way to the rising wall, but in this case my subpixels are bad, so I'm not gonna zip through. This is the most inconsistent frame. Sorry. So I wouldn't worry too much about that one. This next one, this is the good frame, the most consistent one, and you want to zip left until this frame. So how I identify this frame is the ball is fully, or it's not fully, it's half cut off. Also, yeah, the way I identify this one is when rings is half in the lava and half outside of the lava. And then you release right on, or you release left on this frame, and you'll go through the wall. Now, sometimes you won't zip past this wall, so the way to make it more consistent is as soon as you exit the wall, you want to hold left. So if you hold left here, it's actually too early. But if you hold left later, it increases your chances of getting this. And now, there's another kind of thing you can do where you can get into the wall. So what you want to do, and this also saves like half a second to a second depending on the circumstances. You want to wait until this door is like kind of like it's like on the left side of the screen for the most part, and you know that the third door is about to appear. So this is like a good jump area. And if you have good subpixels and your jump is correct, you can clip into this wall like that. Now you gotta wait a bit for the wall to rise up, because if you don't, you'll just die. So you gotta wait. Not that much. And there you go. You can just jump straight out. And if you do both of these, I mean, you can do it without the wall thing. You can get a 34, but this is what you're aiming for with this strat, with the extended zip. I also would probably not recommend going for the wall clip, because it's pretty inconsistent and sometimes you can die if you go for it. If you jump too high, you can also die, and it's not very consistent. But if you want to go for it, you can. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the unused route, I guess you could say, the task route, as well as a few extra optimizations. So at the beginning, if you could do a perfect spin dash, you can bounce on this guy and land over here. Now, this is pretty hard and it's also inconsistent, so this is not recommended to go for. Same with this next jump. So if you stop around here, like, I don't know how to like describe this, but like this microslope and this microslope, you want to stop in the middle of them, and then you want to do a slow 6-tap. I believe there's 2 spin dash speeds that work for this, or maybe it's like a specific spin dash speed, but you need to do a slow spin dash, a slow 6-tap, and then a frame perfect jump. There you go, like that. And if you do it correctly, if you have a good spin dash speed, you'll go over the rock, but you won't go so far that you bonk the spikes. And this lets you just jump over the spikes here. Then you want to stop and 6-tap like usual, but instead of going up, we're going to go forward. And you need to jump as soon as you get out of this tunnel, like that. Next, as soon as you do this, you need to start holding left. You're control locked here, so it'll only take effect once you touch the ground. But as soon as you touch, not as soon as you touch the ground, but you'll have a 2-frame window to jump here. And you need to wait until Sonic starts braking, because if you jump earlier than that, you won't get a good jump. And if you jump at the right time, you'll get enough height to just go up there. And you need to switch to holding right at a certain point to conserve some speed. Kind of like that. And now you can do the seesaw skip. This one for some people is harder. For me, it's honestly, I feel like it's easier for me, but teach their own. You want to stop, and then you want to 6-tap, and you want to jump at the same time as the previous platform cycle jump we did. Okay, I jumped too high there, but you would land on the seesaw still. Like that. And then the rest of the level is the same. Oh boy, I missed the cycle there. Okay, that was still a sub 40. But those are, yeah, so that was that's the task route, I guess you could say. It's not actually that bad, in my opinion. It can be, actually going back, if your spin dash into this tunnel, is too fast. sometimes you'll have no frames to jump. So make sure your spin dash isn't too fast, otherwise that can happen. Just kind of like do like a kind of slow 6-tap. And also make sure to jump as early as possible, because if you jump on this slope, there's like a micro slope you can jump on here. Like that, you can just mess that up. And if you mess up the jump, just kind of do this. And then proceed as normal. This is still not too bad. This is still sub 40able. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for this level. So let's move on to Hilltop 2. Okay. So, let's start with beginner strats. So at the beginning of the level, you want to 1-tap, and you want to jump on this micro slope. Make sure you don't jump too early, because if you do, you won't make it up. But if you jump at the right time, it's a pretty big window, so don't worry. You'll get up here. You can do this with any spin dash speed, but 1-tap is by far the most consistent. There's way more frames to jump on. So just make sure you don't jump too early, and you'll be fine. Then you want to stop and spin dash. And you want to jump on this slope here, this upslope. And then you want to stop and spin dash on this slope and jump again at the top. Run on this loop and roll through this monitor and hold right on this spring. You want to walk into this wall and kind of do like a long left tap. That was, yeah, like that, and you'll hit the spring. And then for the rest of this, don't speed cap until you get on this monitor and you want to jump off it. Once you get to this ground here, you want to stop and 3-tap. And you want to tap left. Yeah, this is a speedrunning guide. This is just like a temporary guide, because there's a tournament happening, and there's no updated guide yet. So this is temporary, and then I'm making a polished one as well. So yeah. You wanna 3-tap on that ground, and then you wanna tap left in midair. And it's not like a tiny left tap, it's like a big tap, not a hold, just like a big tap like that. And then you wanna jump as soon as you land over this guy, so that you get up here. Once you get up here, you wanna jump on this and just run. Also, I said beginner strats. This isn't really beginner strats, I guess. There's not really beginner strats for this level. This early cycle. You should just go for it, and if you don't make it, then just play the level normally afterwards. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. And if you did everything correctly, you'll make this platform cycle. This is technically not the earliest, but this is currently the earliest viable cycle you can make for this platform. And you want to stop and jump up here. This next part, there's 2 ways to do it. So you can either jump on this platform and just go up, or you can do a spin dash jump off of this platform. So you can do I haven't done this in so long, oh my gosh. And bounce on that monitor. Or you can do a slightly faster method where you stop. You do a 1-tap and you do a medium jump. Or sorry, a full jump. And then you'll land up here. And you want to hold left to brake and jump. You want to do a kind of like a big jump, but not a full jump onto this platform. And then you want to jump up. This platform spin dash jump is a bit more advanced. It's kind of difficult, but if you practice it enough, you'll get the hang of it. Yeah, there's a there's a tournament happening. You want to run up here and jump on here and 6-tap. So there's a glitchless strat you can do here, or you can do a zip. You have two options. This zip saves 45 seconds, and I wouldn't recommend it probably when you're starting out. So I'll show the glitchless strat first. You want to jump as soon as you land to skip that monitor and not bonk on it, and then you want to jump over this rock. Not full jump. Don't full jump. You want to do like a medium or small jump, and then hold right at a certain point. And if you do it correctly, you'll land on this platform. Sometimes, if you have bad subpixels or you jump too high, you can clip through this platform because of it being off screen for too long, I'd assume. But after you land on this, you want to jump, and you want to slow down a little so that you can jump up here without bonking. And then run over this, jump, and go up here. Yeah, that's a soft lock Undying Star. So that's the glitchless strat. And now the glitched zip strat. So this is a pretty hard trick at first, and it's also a little inconsistent. So you want to stop here, and you want to do a 2-tap spin dash to clip into this monitor. And from here, you need to zip. You need to hold left, jump, and then pause. And you need to jump a frame after holding left. Like this? No, I didn't get it. Okay, so like this. And I'm sorry, I'm not getting this for some reason. Your jump needs to be 4 frames or less, and ideally 3 frames or less. So this is a 1-frame jump, I believe. So if you get a 1-frame jump, you want to hold nothing until you feel Sonic hit the ground. You'll know this when he stops moving, and then you want to speed cap. You want to hold right and jump. Just mash jump. And if you do this correctly, you'll end up here, from where you can jump up here and continue. Let me try to get a 2-framer. Actually, I mean, there's not really a point in showing 2 frames because it's the same as 1 frames. You just hold nothing, wait until you are touching the ground, or almost touching the ground, then you speed cap, and you jump. Make sure not to jump too late or not to hold right too late, because if you do and you're already touching the ground, you'll die. So that'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it? Why is the Genesis fading? Because I'm activating level select accidentally. So 3-frame, let me see if I can get this. Okay. What is going on? It's like I'm not pressing left or something. Okay, so this is a 3-frame jump. If you get this, you'll see how Sonic is slightly out of the ground. If you get this, you want to hold left, because if you don't, you will die to this wall most of the time. Sometimes you won't, but most of the time you will. You want to hold left, and you want to switch to holding right when you're about to hit the ground, then you mash jump. So I actually got a bad one there. If you get this, this is fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You just run, and you're losing around a second over the fast one. actually think I'm kind of screwed here. So I don't think this can actually get the fast one, but this is 3 frames, and then 4 frames you're even higher out of the ground, and if you don't hold left, you will die. Sometimes with 4 frames you might die even if you hold left, but it's the same thing as 3 frames. So that's what you gotta remember. And this saves, like I said, 4 to 5 seconds. Let me see if I can actually like get it normally, please, because I'm not able to do this right now for some reason. Yeah, so right there I jumped too late and I died like that. You gotta make sure you're mastering jump, because if you're not, you have a very high chance of dying. And once you get to these springs, you kind of want to like maneuver yourself to not bonk the ceiling, kind of like this. And you want to stop here and spin dash. And for this boss, you want to wait a little bit and walk off and roll into him. Sometimes Tails will jump at the wrong time and hit him for you, and it will mess everything up, but most of the time you won't do that, so you don't need to worry about it too much. And there you go. That's pretty much Hilltop 2. This isn't a very fast one, but you can get a 50 with this, or if you're out of your mind, you can get a 49. So yeah, let's move on to Mystic 1 now. So you want to start this level off for, I guess, yeah. There's an early Crusher cycle you can make here at the beginning, where you can spin dash, and if you're fast enough, you can barely squeeze under this Crusher at the beginning. I already think I mentioned this yesterday, but this is a camera cycle. All the Crushers in Mystic Cave are camera cycles, I believe. So it's only when you approach a certain area of the Crusher that it will start like moving. So you want to 6 tap at the beginning, and I jump around the end of this. I jump around like when I'm under these rings, kind of. It's a medium jump to make it up here, and then as soon as I touch the ball, I want to jump to a small jump and just slightly hold left so that I don't go very far, and then I want to spin dash as soon as I stop. So I'm actually too slow here, but it's so hard to do with pausing. Kind of like that. So if you're there's 2 ways to do this part. You can either just hold right and just kind of go off the slope, or if you want to be a bit faster, you can do a slope jump here and then jump on this slope as well. Around like between the second and the third ring is where you want to jump, and you'll land up here. Then there's 2 things you can do once you jump. So you want to jump up onto this like orange brick kind of thing, and you want to stop. This is a bit too far for one of them, but you want to 6 tap and jump into the ceiling, and you'll do kind of this sort of thing. You'll get a bunch of speed and you won't bonk this. And you want to run, and you want to jump over these crates, and you're going to land, and you got to jump again. So I actually need to hold left here a little, because otherwise I'm going to bonk the spring. I'm going to jump over here and grab this vine. Now, the alternate method to do this is you stop here, and I think I'm too far. So you can stop here, and you want to do a 3 tap, and you want to time your jump. So you hit this spring, but you want to be hitting the like right side of it, because if you don't hit the right side, you're gonna bonk this little wall here and stop. It's not that big of a deal. You can still easily save it, and you'll land on this crate from where you want to jump, and you want to hold right and grab this vine. If you do get the okay, not that, please. Okay, I just did a 1 tap there, but you want to be 3 tapping. If you do get this, all you have to do is 6 tap, jump as soon as you land, and you'll most likely hit these spikes and then just jump onto this vine. The easiest way to do this section is to just 3 tap over this gap, jump up, and then 6 tap. But there is a slightly harder jump you can do, so there's 2 ways to do this. I'll explain both of them. The way that most people do nowadays is they jump into this, and you want to be holding down when you jump off of it. And when you land, you want to 6 tap. So I'm actually too late here because I hit the spikes, but let me try to get a better example of this. So when you land here, you want to 6 tap, and you want to jump on the last possible frame to get up here. This is harder than what I just showed, but it's also like I think it's a second faster. I don't know, but I would only go for this if you're like going for top times, honestly. The other way to do this is to hold right here and do it from here. But this is for most people harder because there's a risk of straight jumping, which loses a second. So if you want to, you can go for this strat as well, but it's your choice. So when you land, you want to stop, or if you're jumping up here, you want to stop. You want to spin dash, jump on this slope. This is key. If you don't jump on this slope, you won't be able to instantly grab this vine. So let me show what I mean. Like, say I just roll, I'm not going to grab this vine instantly. And this is because I'm in a running state, so I don't fall as fast, and this lets me grab the vine. Then you want to hold left to fall into the spring. And you want to jump into this ceiling to grab this invincibility. After grabbing this, you want to... So this maneuver is a bit hard at first, but you want to jump up here. And you want to kind of do like you jump left and then switch to right midair. And this lets you jump over this box. Without touching it, and then you can just hit the spring. You don't have to do this so precisely, like you can just jump over the box, bonk it, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then you want to roll until you're like close to the spring, and then you just jump, full jump, and roll up this. There's an alternate. This is a bit. I don't know if it's harder per se, but there's another way you can do this section. You can just jump up on here. So I'm just gonna do this. Oh my gosh. You can jump up here and just run as well, but this is slower, so I don't know if I would recommend it. It's also not that much easier than the other one. So you want to roll up, and then you want to run. And where I jump is I jump when I'm at the end of these rings. You want to do a medium jump. So you land on these spikes. And as soon as you land on them, you want to jump, or not necessarily as soon as you land on them, but you want to jump at the edge of these spikes. Full jump, and then you want to roll through this bridge. If you do miss this jump, there's a few backups. Like, let's say I missed it. The first backup is to go down here and get a spin dash up, but you need an exact spin dash speed for this, so I don't know if I would recommend it. The next backup, and this is the better one, or well, I mean, you could also go back and just do this thing again. That's another backup, but the best backup is to jump up on these spikes, full jump, and bounce on this monitor, because you will always get the same height from bouncing on this. You need to be holding A when you're bouncing on this, by the way. And you'll just get in the bridge and you can roll through. This end section has a very hard climb up these stairs. This is also something I can't really explain in words, but you want to be doing small jumps and kind of releasing right every so often to kind of temper your speed. Because otherwise you'll be too fast and you'll bonk like this, for example. You'll bonk that monitor, for example, or this wall. But if you do it correctly, you can just go right up. This isn't that big of a deal, though. Don't worry about it. The only thing this poses an issue for is a crusher cycle up here. But like if you mess this up, just don't go for the early crusher cycle. So then you wait for this bridge to come down. You want to grab that vine, obviously, and grab this vine. And what I look for to jump off is when Sonic's feet are like aligned with this, with the top of this kind of green. I don't know what these are called, but rocks, I guess. I don't know. You want to jump, and you'll get right on. And since I did the fast climb, I can make this crusher cycle. So I jump on, and I spin dash right off it. And make sure when you land, so you want to be holding nothing here, obviously it's not speed cap. Make sure when you land, you don't roll, because if you roll, you won't be able to clear this gap, because for some reason when you roll, you fall faster. So I'm actually not fast enough here, interestingly enough. But generally, you'll clear that gap if your spin dash is fast enough. Okay, and that's this level. Now, one more thing, if you want to, if you don't want to go for this because you're scared of dying, you can just jump over these and spin dash from here, I guess. This is obviously slower, but it's also safer, so, yeah. And then I guess I'll try to, like, show what this level looks like a little. Okay, come on. So that's a 31. That's pretty good. The best you can get is a 29, but that's IL only pretty much. And there's only one person who's ever gotten a 29 in general, so don't worry too much about it. As long as you're getting, like, for a beginner, if you're getting sub 40, that's pretty good. So next is Mystic 2. And this level is pretty spin dash heavy. So get ready. So you want to 3-tap and you want to jump. I don't really have a visual key for this jump. I just kind of have a feel for it. But I guess like when you're like under the rings, you want to jump. And then you want to jump into this vine. As soon as you jump into this vine, you want to hold right and jump off, because this bridge will stop you. There's an invisible wall here until the bridge is fully down. So you can just wait. You can just jump into it. And then you want to 6-tap and hold nothing. Just hold neutral. When you land here on this bridge, you want to just full jump into these spikes, and then as soon as you land, you want to 6-tap again. If I can 6-tap, thank you. And then once again here, don't hold down until you land, because if sometimes if you do, you can just roll. It's pretty rare, but sometimes it happens. And then you want to 6-tap again, and you'll land here. So you then want to wait to hold left until you're, I guess, around like the bridge, this bridge's level. Or maybe a bit earlier, but just don't hold right away, because you'll go under you'll kind of hit the ceiling there a little. And then here you can either just run and jump off like this, or you can stop, do a 3-tap, and then do a small jump onto this ground here. This is what I typically do. This next jump is pretty hard at first. In my opinion, I struggled a bit with this when I first learned this game, but you want to run, and around like the middle of these rings, you want to full jump. You want to kind of tap left to temper your speed a little, and jump off of this and hold right. This is another jump you just got to get the feel for, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Then you want to run, and you can either just run off this. This is not that much slower, or you can stop and spin dash here. And then you want to speed cap when you're like above this lantern, kind of. And then you 4-tap. So you need to, once you stop, you want to 4-tap. Or you can 6-tap. You don't have to go for this next jump. But there's a frame perfect jump here. On, I believe, this frame. No, next frame. Next frame. This frame right here. So when he's kind of like on this angle, this like corner here, that's when you jump. And it's frame perfect. And if you do it correctly, this, you need to do a 4-tap for this. If you do a 6-tap, you will not be able to like go in between these bridges. As soon as you land, you want to jump and then speed cap, and then jump over this. The alternative is to just spin dash, so just 6-tap. Then you want to hold right, stop here, and 3-tap and jump. Here, and then just continue as normal. When you land here, you want to stop and 3-tap. Don't 6-tap. You want to 3-tap. And you'll get over here. Then you want to 3-tap again under this. Face left in midair, so that you're not moving when you land. 3-tap again when you land. Face right in midair, and then you want to 2-tap when you land. And then 6-tap as soon as you land. And don't roll, please, here. So I see a lot of people rolling on this section, so just run. Okay, so for this boss, so usually you'd want to use Tails, but Tails is kind of slow here, so I don't know if I can do this with him. But you want to jump. Yeah, so Tails is too slow here. Let me like wait for him before the boss and then enter. So if you have Tails, you want to wait until he's kind of on screen. Also, these patterns for these falling stalagmites are completely random. So don't really like just trying to remember the patterns, I guess, avoid them or something. Okay, this is a bit of a better one. So you want to stand in the middle of him so that the spikes don't hit you, like his drills. And when he comes on screen, you want to jump, let Tails get hit, and then once Tails hits him, you want to jump again. And then as soon as you land, you want to jump again to get another hit, and then you spin dash into him. And you hold the spin dash to get 4 hits. This is really hard I don't know why I'm not getting this right now. Give me a second. Let me just wait for Tails. So it kind of looks like this. If the spike wasn't there, please. Like that. And this capsule jump, you want to kind of, so what I do is I hold right a little, then I let go of right, and then I start holding right again. And then I jump. I don't have any visual keys for this one, it's just a feeling thing. So figure something out for yourself and do it. That's pretty much the gist of Mystic 2. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, not really. That's pretty much it for this level. Maybe I won't finish everything today, actually. I don't know. We'll see. So, oil 1. There's a lot to cover for this level. So, you want to, at the beginning, you want to 6-tap and just roll the whole time here. When you land the oil, hold right, and you want to jump on this slope here, this one. You want to jump on it, and you want to let go. You don't want a full jump. You want to do like a medium jump so that you don't hit this octopus and get hit by him. And you want to jump and hold and like slow down so that you land on this green pad. And when the green pad goes up, you want to 6-tap, or you can wait for it when it's coming down if you're not fast enough. Either one works. But if your spin dash is good enough, you can just roll under these 2 pillars. If your spin dash isn't good enough, you can stop and 3-tap under this one. You can jump up, 3-tap under this pillar. like that. I'm sorry, I haven't done these beginner struts in ages. But if you do go under it, you can jump out, and then you can jump again to get directly on here. From where you want to stop, and you want to 6-tap, and jump is after you break this monitor to land on here. Here you want to roll and jump on this slope, but don't jump too early. And I actually got very fast speed here, but you want to jump as soon as you land in the oil. Especially if you get that amount of speed, because if you don't, then you'll bonk this thing. If you do bonk it, you can just jump through the middle. Just make sure not to jump too high, otherwise you can't go through most of the time. So you want to do like a medium or small jump. But generally, yeah, so you can get this. If you go, you can go up to here, and there's two ways you can do this. You can either wait for this fan to stop moving, or you can just spin dash under both of these, which is what I would recommend. So the way I do this is I 3-tap, and then I wait until I'm under this pillar, and I time my jump as soon as I exit this pillar. It's something you gotta get a feel for. After a while, it gets a lot easier. Trust me on that. But when you start off, it's pretty hard. And if you're uncomfortable with that, you can just do one pillar, which is very easy. Like, you shouldn't have any issues with this one. You just spin dash under it and jump immediately after you clear it. But I'm just going to stick to 3-taps for now, because I feel like it's much more efficient. Oh, that was interesting. I haven't had that one in a while. When you get to here, you want to jump up. And you want to go over here. And when you land, you want to 6-tap. Then you want to spin dash under these. And you want to go in this cannon. Face right and spin dash when you land. And charge a 6-tap. As soon as you are able to spin dash here without hitting this wall, you gotta release. Because if you do that, you can clear this cycle of the fan. You can like make the fan. I mean, this isn't really a fan cycle because this is a camera cycle, but you can just skip the fan, which saves like a bunch of time, like 3 or 4 seconds. And then you jump on this, and you just spin dash down the level. So that's the beginner strat, sort of. Oops, not Mystic one. And now, the slightly more difficult strats. You want to jump into this thing, and then you want to 6-tap as soon as you land. And you want to jump into kind of like this. I mean, you can jump into this, or you can jump into this. It doesn't really matter. But you want to jump into this ceiling in some way. And you want to wait until you're under. You clear this. So pause buffering helps with this. But if you don't want to, you don't have to pause buffer. You jump into that, and then when you clear this, you jump out, and that's that. So kind of looks something like this. Not like that. This part is the same. So here you can do a little skip. Well, not a skip. Why am I calling it a skip? It's just a faster method of doing this section. You can jump into the ceiling and jump out, but this is pretty risky. If your spin dash isn't fast enough, you want to bail out on this immediately, because you won't be able to clear the pillars. And then you want to, my way of doing this is I do 2 full jumps as soon as I land, and I wait for Sonic's head to just barely be above the oil, and then I land. When I land, I jump. So I'm actually a bit too early here, but if you do it perfectly, you can jump up and skip this fan as well. This is, again, something you gotta get a feel for. You can figure out your own way of doing this. I know a lot of different people have different ways of doing this, like Joey. I have a different way of doing this. I think Hatchie has a different way of doing this. But just find something that works for you and do that. And then the rest is as usual. And the best you can get with this is a 30. technically you can get a 29, but good luck doing that. And lastly, some optimizations for this level. There's two main ones I want to talk about. So actually, let's just rewind, honestly, instead of doing this. So this thing here, right? If you get a good slope jump off this, like this, to where you're like landing very far out, you can actually, instead of stopping here and jumping, you can just run under this as if you're already spin dashing. And this saves, I believe, 1 second. It's a lot easier than it looks, but you just gotta pray you get the good jump, because the frames for it can change sometimes. It's wacky. It's all like subpixels and stuff. So you can just jump out here and this is the green pad at the end is skip. You can skip. So if you stop here and you 6-tap and you jump into the ceiling, a frame after I'm pausing. This is like a pretty hard jump. You can jump frame perfectly here. This is 1 frame early, I believe. That's 1 frame late. This frame, you can skip the green pad like that, and you have to make sure you're running. If you're rolling, this won't work. Because of course it won't. For this, you gotta make sure your spin dash isn't too fast nor too slow. If it's too fast, you'll bonk this wall. This isn't that big of a deal, like, you're not losing much time. This is still faster and waiting for it, obviously. As you can see, I still get a 29, but it's a much later 29 than the one I just got. But that's pretty much it for this level. So let's move on to Lotion 2. So there's 2 things for this level. One of them I don't know if I'm even qualified to teach really, but I'll still explain it. So you wanna, at the beginning, you wanna 6-tap, and you wanna hold nothing so that you're in a running state. Don't roll here. Rolling, this is a mistake a lot of people make, because you always roll over these bridges in oil 1, but you wanna run, and you wanna jump around like this part of the purple bridge to make it over these spikes. Then you want to stop here, 6-tap and jump. Or if you don't want to do this, you can just wait, jump, and just go over here. I'll explain the lower up first. So you want to jump on this green pad here, this second one in particular, and you want to hold right as soon as you land on it. Keep holding right to get hit by these spikes, and you'll land this cannon, and you'll be in a glitch state. There isn't really like an official name for this that we've called this, but some people call it like supersonic properties or something like that. So I don't know, call it whatever you want. When you land, you want to hold nothing and jump out of this section and hold left, and you want to keep going left. You can do this. This is hard though. Or you can stop and just walk off into this cannon. Then you want to hold left as soon as you get ejected, and you want to do a small jump. As you can see, Sonic's moving a lot faster and jumping a lot higher than usual. And this is because of what we did, like where we got hit and entered the cannon. And I'm not 100% sure what causes this glitch, but it's there. It's cool to have, I guess. So you want to go down here, and you want to tap right into this thing. Or actually, you don't even have to press anything, I guess, because this is happening. But you want to, I would recommend stopping and just walking up to this, and then you just gotta tap right into it, like this. You don't have to hold into it or anything. The supersonic glitch, whatever it's called, just does it for you. Make sure not to hold left. If you hold left, this messes up your subpixels and makes this lower up inconsistent. So you want to tap right. This is key, like very, very important to remember this. And it'll go up into this wall. Wait for the camera to completely stop moving. It kind of like shifts down, and once you like don't see this orange background anymore up here, you're safe to hold left to lower up. And next up is the 1 cycle boss for this route, you want to wait until Sonic is on screen, pretty much, and then you want to tap left twice. You can do it with one left tap, but 2 taps. Sometimes if you do 1, you can just not spin dash to the left, so just do 2 taps. And then you want to 2 tap. As soon as you hit the side of this, you want to hold right, and pretty much when you land in the oil, maybe a bit afterwards, you want to roll and release right. And you'll hit the boss, and then you want to jump out. You want to do like a big jump or a medium jump, but not too big. And you'll get the bounces, and then as soon as you land, you want to spin dash to get the last hit. There's a risk of dying here, obviously. Also, there's a risk of soft locking. If you're scared of dying, you can grab a ring. But if you're like a more top runner, grabbing a ring isn't recommended because if you miss this 1 cycle, usually you're gonna reset anyways. This is a 17-second time save, so it's pretty big. It's a pretty big time save. And if you don't get this, you just do the boss normally. And then this capsule is very similar to the one in Mystic 2, where what I do is I kind of hold right and then release right and then start holding right again and then jump. So that's the level wrap route. The best you can get with this route is like a 40, but sorry. Usually you're gonna be getting like a 42 or a 43. But now the Swiss route. So the beginning is the same. So here, instead of level wrap, or instead of jumping out, we're going to hold left, and one of 2 things can happen. Either we can get a zip where we just zip directly out, you just eject from this wall, or you can get this. So if this happens, you need to do a specific maneuver to zip out. So I wait until Sonic is kind of like this, out of the wall, and then I tap right. Or not tap right, I hold right and pause, and then I hold left. And he'll zip out like this. So if you get the good zip, you'll just do this immediately by just holding left. And after this, you're going to run to the right, and you want to jump up here. Up on this platform. And then as soon as you land, you want to jump up here, and run to the right. Here you want to roll and jump into the ceiling. Make sure not to jump too late because this will happen. Oh, I'm not getting it. Surprise. This will happen. And 99% of the time, once you hit the spring, you lose the glitch. This glitch is typically lost when you spin dash or when you interact with objects, so that's important to keep in mind. So you want to jump a bit earlier. Sometimes if you have bad subpixels and you jump, you can get stopped here. The best way to prevent this is to just jump earlier. Now here you can do a bit of an optimization. You can jump on this slope and speed cap around here, but this isn't necessary. You don't have to do this. So just keep running. If you don't do this jump, you can just tap left like twice and jump out. This next part, you want to jump when you're like on about on the bridge, almost on the bridge, and hold A to bounce. And then go neutral when Sonic is when Sonic starts falling. And you'll land on this bridge, and then you wanna full jump, and then this is another thing you have to get a timing for. Like there's no cues for this really. You wanna start holding right at a certain point, so I'm not actually getting it here, but let's see if I can get this. Like this. You'll swoosh in between these bridge, and then you wanna roll under these. If you don't get this, you can just walk and release when you're about to hit the oil and then just roll under them. And then you want to go to these and just jump into them. And you want to stop here. So you're probably thinking, well, the oil is ending, so what are we going to do now? You're going to stop. And you want to be pretty high up, so you might want to do another jump. And you're going to 3-tap. And when Sonic kind of goes off screen, like maybe like a bit after he goes off screen, you want to jump This is really hard to do with pausing. But this is also something you have to get a feel for. There's no cues for this or anything. You just have to get a timing for this. Maybe like when the screen starts going up, sort of, you jump. Like not immediately when it starts going up, but like half a second after it starts going up, you jump. And then you want to and then you want to, as soon as you jump, you want to 3-tap, release, and then you want to jump again into this ceiling. Or you can wait and do it when everything is on screen. That's the choice is yours. You then want to wait for Sonic to sink under the oil completely. Not like that. Not to where he dies. Please repause. Then you want to jump, hold left, and then you want to release left. And roll. If you hold left for too long, that will happen. So you need to do, it's like a small left tap. And then you roll into him, and the boss is as usual. You just spin dash into him. Oh, okay, so I actually got the hard lock here. This is what happens if you hit him. If you kill him on the last frame that he's on screen, this happens. The game just crashes, so yeah, that's fun. Five, 6, oh, that was 7 already. But yeah, you get the point, and then that's pretty much this level. So you can get a 35 if you're crazy with this route, but you're typically going to get 36 to 38 roughly, maybe 39. I got a 40 here, but this is pretty slow, and I'm not super good at this route, which is why I said maybe I'm not qualified to teach this or to explain this, but I thought it was worth mentioning, and maybe someone one day will make a in-depth Swiss route guide. But that's done. Let's move on to Metro then. This is the most infamous stage in this game, obviously. So let's start. Let's talk about the beginner strats first. So you want to 6-tap and jump at the top of the slope and just run. You're gonna stop there, 6-tap and jump on that slope. You want to be jumping around here when you're on the like flat part of it or the slightly slanted one, but don't jump too early, otherwise you won't make it up. You're gonna run up here, land on this, and hold right until you hit the wall, and then you want to tap right. Then 6-tap and jump over this guy, and so some people speed cap for this jump. You jump and speed cap onto that. I just hold left at the right time and jump onto it, but the choice is yours. You want to land on this button and you want to walk off into here. If you're fast enough, you'll make this platform cycle here. This is the earliest one. It's at 13 seconds, whatever. And you just go down it. Make sure not to jump here, by the way, because if you do, sometimes, depending on your sub-pixels, obviously, it's all related to sub-pixels, you won't be able to get over here, or like get in this gap if you walk off 99% of the time, you will. So walk off, jump off that slope for versus speed, and then fall down here. And you want to brake here, or I guess hold right to speed cap and jump into that spring. Now, this is key. So if you don't have Tails with you, you want to look at how you at these springs. So if Tails appears here, let me try to get him to appear. I don't know how to get this to work. Okay, so if Tails appears here when you're going up, you want to go over here and you want to stop before the mesh, and he will fly over to you. If he isn't there, which is the less common one, so I'm not going to try to get like this. If he's not here, then you want to walk over or run or spin dash or whatever, and you want to go up here typically. Now this isn't exactly what I would like, but he will spawn here. If he is not in the spring section, if you don't see him there, you want to go up here. Wait for him to come and jump up, and then go up to this nut. Get on with tails on, and 6-tap to go up. Then you want to jump off, go on this one, and do the same thing. You want to jump here. 6-tap, and you want to kill this badnik, and you want to scroll this nut all the way down. And this is the only instance of a screen wrap in this game being useful, at least in the any percent route. And you want to hold the screen down and jump when the screen is panned down. So it's called a screen wrap. It's like a level wrap, but vertical, essentially. So it's a bit different than that, but like pretty much that's what it is. And you want to wait until the screen starts moving slowly again, and then do a small jump again. And Sonic will be inside the nut. And from here you want to jump, and you'll clip through the ground. Then you want to spin dash to the side, and you want to... as soon as you can spin dash through this gap, you want to release spin dash to get over this block. Then you want to face left. You want to face left. And spin dash into this bridge. Wait a bit. Wait a bit and spin dash into this bridge. And then face right. 6-tap. And this is important. So you want to walk off this and hold right. And then as soon as you hit this wall, you want to hold down to roll. And this sets your subpixels so that you get stopped by the ground here. And this is good for us in this case, actually. And then you want to do a 5-tap to clear this gap. You can do it with the 6-tap, but it's less consistent. You can get subpixeled more by that spring. Let me show you what I mean. Like that. And then you finish the level. Okay, now for the zip route. So you want to spin dash, do this the same, and then stop, and you want to spin dash in this mesh. And you want to jump when you're at the peak of it, and jump off this and hold left. This is a bit faster and also makes the cycle more lenient. So this is where the route completely changes. So you want to jump into this wall, and as soon as you land, you want to spin dash. So if you see Sonic's feet moving, I think this is called like RAM storage. This is the animation frame you're looking for. So this is the first one, and you want to watch until you get the third one of these. So this is 1, 2, and on this one, unless I'm being stupid here, you want to release and hold right. And then you want to tap left so that you clip into this wall. Now, if you don't have tails with you, you need to wait, or you need to spin dash as soon as you get into the wall. Because if you don't, this will happen. You'll just die to this door. To spin dash immediately. That was a bit slow. And you're looking for two things here. So there's this frame where Sonic is off screen completely. And if you get this frame, you want to jump. You want to jump a frame after unpausing, and it's a small jump, like this. The next frame is this one where the screen shifts down and Sonic is fully off screen. If you get this, you want a full jump a frame after unpausing. Okay, so no matter which frame you get, the next part is the same. You want to hold nothing after jumping until this pipe, this second one with the pipe in the mesh, is fully on the screen. So once you see this, you hold left, and once you see these yellow springs, you want to hold right. And this is to prevent soft locking in this wall. And this, yeah, that's how you do the zip. Now, one thing to note, if you do pause too early here, like this, the only way to save this is to hold left. I think this is, yeah, this is 1 frame early. So you need to hold left for 1 frame and then jump a frame after. And let go and go neutral, like that. This is harder for most people. I actually don't find this too bad, but for most people this is pretty difficult. So just try your best to pause on those 2 frames because it makes it much easier. And you want to, and this is the same obviously. When you land, you want to 4 tap, and you will go directly over this button. Not a lot of people actually know this. Most people do 2 spin dashes here, which is not much slower, but I prefer 4 tapping. Do whatever you want. And now, there's 2 ways to do a faster nut clip here that I want to talk about. So I'll talk about the slightly easier one first. So you walk up here, you pan the screen down, and then you spin dash instead of jumping. And you want to hold right until the screen stops moving. And get like the what's it called? This thing in the middle of the screen. And you're going to have 4 frames to jump. Make sure you're facing left, by the way. You're going to have 4 frames to jump. What I look for as a visual cue is when I just kind of know how much of background there is before I need to jump. So this is early, but this is just fine. This is the last frame, I believe. Yeah, this is the last frame you can jump on. And Sonic dies the frame after this. So there you go. I think Joey mentioned yesterday on his stream that what he uses is when the rings is like in this top pipe here to jump. So I think this works. This is a bit early, but this frame works. This is frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, and frame 4. So 4 frames to jump. And then the rest of the level is as usual. But there's an even faster one you can do. This one's even harder, but it saves, I think, a second over this one, or 2 seconds. You instead of doing it over there, you do it over here, and you have to hold right, because if you don't, you're gonna hit the badnik. And you just stop to holding left pretty much as soon as you hit him. And and then this is the same. You have 4 frames to jump. And then the ending is the same. And you're aiming for a 40 with this route. But that's pretty much Metro 1, yeah. Metro 2. I would explain the 13 strat, but I'm not good at it, and I feel like Joey's already explained it enough, so if you want, there's a pinned thing in SSC that you can look at for that. So I'm just going to explain the regular strat. So you want to wait like a quarter of a second, and then spin dash 6 tap. You want to jump on this flat ground. If you do it correctly, you will just land directly in the lava. Walk to the middle of the platform and charge a spin dash. You don't need to mash or anything, you just charge on 1 tap. Or 3 tap, whatever. And you want to wait until you see this mesh here. This mesh. And then you release and hold right. And you'll get into this wall. This like air pocket. From here, you need to do a small jump up and hold right. And then switch to holding left at a certain time. So after clipping, you need to hold left until you hit this wall, and then release, and hold right when you hit the ground, and you'll get a level right. This makes it consistent, and then to hit the signpost, you wait until this slope with 3 rings is fully off screen, and then you hold left, and you get a 15 or a 16. So this is how the level looks without pausing. Like that. And there's your 15. But yeah, that's the Metro 2 thing, the lower up. So now let's talk about Metro 3, and this one's, oh god, this one's gonna be fun. So there's a lower up you can do here. Let me redo this. So Metro 3, right? You want to 2-tap into these rings and jump. You're trying to collect all 3 of them, and jump on this slope and kill this badnik. You want to get Tails to be kind of like a bit in front of you, so this is fine. If his nose is like peeking out, this is okay. You want to start walking to the edge of the platform, ideally pause buffering, and you're trying to get on this pixel here. This is perfect positioning. I look at this like how the front of his foot and there's a little bit of green behind it, a few green pixels. That's what I look at. You can figure out something for yourself. I'm not sure what you want to use, but you can use something. And you want to wait for Tails to move and drop this platform. And you have 4 frames to zip on. You have this frame, which won't always zip you depending on your cell pixels. You have this frame. You have this frame. And this is the last frame to zip on. So zip on any of these frames. And you're looking for, there's 5 pause frames you're looking for. You want to zip and repause as soon as you can. This is the first pause frame you're looking for. This is the earliest wrap frame. If you get this, you want to just hold left and you'll wrap. The next frame is this one. So how I recognize this one is Sonic's facing left and there's no dust behind him. And then I just jump on this downslope to lower up. The next one is he's facing left and there's dust in this like big red cylinder, and I just hold nothing for this one and you'll lower up. The next one is the same, the dust is in the big red like cylinder and I hold nothing and I lower up. And then the next one, the dust is in between this little red cylinder and the big red cylinder, and for this one I hold left to lower up. Those 5 frames, the first 5 frames, are consistent for the most part, like 99% consistent. And all the ones afterwards are inconsistent, so this frame is hold right and release as soon as you unpause. So I got it here, but this is not consistent. Like, you won't get this sometimes, depending on your subpixels. It's inconsistent. Same goes for every single later frame. So all of these frames are super inconsistent. The inputs change depending on your subpixels. It's weird. But those first 5 frames, those are what you're looking for to lower up. There's also a slightly faster strat at the beginning. So you 3-tap, and you want Tails to get hit. But you kill this badnik. And as soon as Tails lands, you want to get him to jump by pressing A before you land. So you get him to jump, right? And then you need to get him in position as quickly as possible. And then Tails will run off and drop the platform, and you can lower up at 4 seconds. This is a little bit faster, but it's not that big of a deal. Now we gotta do the boss. This one's gonna be fun. So I'll explain the 3 cycle first. You want to position Sonic kind of like to where he's inside this like black thing, like half of him is inside of this. And you want to charge a smash, whatever. And you want to release at a certain point so that you get kind of this thing where he gets hit and he keeps staying on the ground. So the reason this happens is because the balloon gets broken as soon as you hit him, so he stays on the ground. And then you want to walk into him and get 2 more hits by using your invincibility frames. Okay. Like that. Then you want to position yourself on like this metal beam. And you gotta time another hit. I have not done this 3 cycle in ages. Let me try to remember this. Right, so you wait for the second one. You wait for a second rotation. And then you spin dash into him. And you get 2 more hits, just like last time, by using your invincibility frames. And then these last 2 hits, you want to roll into him and jump into him. And that's the 3 cycle. So for this, you're aiming for like 45, 46. But you can get lower depending on some optimizations you do here and there. But generally, 45, 46 is very good with the 3 cycle. So for the 1 cycle, you need to be jumping while you're level wrapping, so that Tails doesn't end up on the ground when once the screen catches up with Sonic. And this is because you want to manipulate Tails to face and spin dash in another direction. So you want to charge your spin dash and just hold down. You're not mashing here or anything. When Tails lands, you want to tap right briefly, like a bit of a long right tap so that Tails goes somewhat far, but so that he doesn't roll. Something like this works. Then you want to charge a spin dash so that he's spin dashing to the right. And then the first hit is as usual, so you want to release it. That's a bit late. And it's very important that Tails spin dashes to the right, otherwise this trick won't work, or this boss 1 cycle. Pretty much as soon as you get hit, you want to do a medium neutral jump, so don't hold any direction. And if you do it correctly, Sonic will the same thing will happen pretty much. You'll keep him on the ground for a second hit. Then, just before you hit the ground, you want to press A so that Tails jumps. And you want to do like a big jump, I'd say, but not a full jump. And then you want to start tapping right, so that Tails gets manipulated to hit him in a certain way. This is hard to do with pausing, but it looks something like this. Something like that. For the 4th hit, you're looking for the nose of his ship, I guess, to be in line with this kind of beam, or maybe a bit before it. It depends on how you do the 3rd hit. If it's slightly later 3rd hit, you want to hit him a bit earlier. If it's slightly earlier 3rd hit, you might want to hit him a bit later. So in this case, I think it's pretty much fine to hit him like around when his nose is here. Once you hit him, you need to immediately go to the left, and you're going to want to start face right afterwards and roll into him so that you get hit, but Tails gets a hit for you. And this is a hit that's based entirely on feel. You can't really, there's no cues for this, but I can sort of explain kind of like a rough area how you want to do this hit. So you want to walk left to around like this beam, and then you want to head right and roll. But roll earlier so that you have a bit of a slower roll and you kind of delay your hit. So like that. Then you want to head right a little bit, and you want to wait until this ball here finishes its rotation and is like right in line with Sonic, and then you want to jump into him. And if you time it correctly, so in this case I'm not fast enough, but you want to, if you time it correctly, you will hit the ball as soon as you hit Robotnik. And then the last 2 hits, you maybe want to go left a little bit and then jump into him twice. And you'll get all 8 hits very quickly. So I'm going to try to do it in 1 take here, without any pausing or rewinding. And then just jump on the capsule and you're done. This is a very inconsistent strat, as I said, because Tails, I'd say 50% of the time, does not want to cooperate with you. At least from my experience, it's around 50%. And then sometimes the ring can fall through the floor. That's a classic. But that's essentially for Metro 3. Now, if you, well, I should probably also mention, if you mess up, say the 5th hit, like, say you mess up early when you're doing this strat, like say you get this, you would want to get 2 hits here, and then you would want to just try to get like the rest of the hits as though you're doing a 3 cycle. It's a lot harder when he has less balls to time the hits, but you can do it, and you can still like 2 cycle him. So that's what you want to aim for if you mess it up midway through the fight. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this fight. Sky Chase, I actually just have a save state here for it. There's only one thing in this level. It's 205. Okay, but you're looking for this turtle's nose to be like kind of in between G and S. More so leaning, like it's like touching the G slightly. And then you need to jump a frame after I'm pausing, and you'll get a 205. You have about, I believe, 2 frames for this. Let me see if the next one works as well. Yeah, 2 frames. 2 frames for this. So, yeah. That's all there is to that level. So there's 2 levels left to take a look at. And the first one is Wing Fortress. So this level is probably like one of if not the most technical stages in the game. And there's multiple ways to go about playing this level, but I'm gonna show off one, like the best variation of what's a memory manipulation to kind of get a quick boss kill in this level. It involves playing the level in a very specific way, but there are, I guess, some route alterations you can take, so I'll go over those as well in this. So you want to walk to the right edge of the plane at the beginning, and you want to start charging a spin dash when Sonic stops. And once the second last laser is fully off screen, you want to release your spin dash. A bit after that, maybe after the last laser is off screen. After a while, you'll get a timing for it, sort of. And then when you touch the zipper, you want to face down and start charging a spin dash, and then face left in midair. Hold nothing for the spin dash to instantly begin as soon as you touch the ground, and jump into the ceiling. And then face left, or face right, sorry, and charge another spin dash. And then jump into the ceiling and hold right to conserve your speed. Once you reach this propeller, you want to roll, or I mean you don't have to, but I just do that for some reason. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but once you get here, there's 2 routes you can do. One of them involves doing the chicken strat, which is a slightly less consistent variation than the one I'm trying to show, but I'll go into it a bit later. For those who are too intimidated by this route here. So you want to jump over this chicken as soon as you land. And if you're fast enough, you'll clear this platform here. And you'll be running. And you want to hold right to speed cap, and then tap left. If this is too difficult for you, you can speed cap earlier and play it a bit more safe, but this is the fastest way to do it. And then you want to jump as soon as you land onto this platform, holding nothing, and then when you're about to land, you want to start holding right and jump on this platform, maybe a bit later than this, and just keep jumping on these platforms and then jump on this slope. Now this is the important part. After walking into this propeller, you want to spin dash. This is very specific for this variation, but you have to spin dash for it to work. For what is called the window strat. I'll go into why it's called that in a bit, but you want to spin dash through this propeller after getting hit. So when you land, you want to do a 1 tap and jump. Do a tap jump after getting like behind this propeller here, and you'll land on this conveyor belt, and then just hold left to stop. If you're on Rev 2, you can charge a spin dash here, and when the conveyor belt disappears, you'll have slope glitch, so you can just spin dash across the air. If you're not on Revo 1 or Revo 2, well, you should probably switch over, but you can just do this platform section. So you would wait for the platforms to appear. That's a bit, oh, I got a bad platform cycle here. Just wait for this to appear, and then do this platform section like that. But most people are on Rev 2, so you would just spin dash across this gap. And to time this jump, as long as you don't have a perfect spin dash and your spin dash speed is relatively good, what I look at is the second last platform and like the third kind of line of dots here. So you have the one in the middle and this one, and I want to jump on the third one. So that's a bit too late, but if you jump there, you'll land directly on the zipper. And if you miss the zipper, say like this, I've actually got on it. If you miss it like this, you'll still have slope glitch on, so you just want to jump again onto the zipper. But generally you'll land on this and hold nothing. I hold down here just so I start rolling immediately, and you want to jump over this zipper. And you want to run up to this slope, stop, maybe stop a bit earlier, right? And you want to 6 tap up the slope, and you want to jump kind of, I'd say, close to the top of the slope, so that you get up here. If you miss this jump, like this, say, you can just go over to this hook and jump up normally. But this is the fastest way of doing this section. And then once you're up here, you want to jump onto the zipper up here, and you want to spin dash after landing on it to activate slope glitch. Like, actually that was a bit late. Oh god, okay. And you'll know you have slope glitch if Sonic is like in a balancing animation, like this kind of, when you stop. That's how you know you have it. Another optimization that can be done for this is doing a double spin dash. This is something you have to get a timing for, but you do the first one and then you do another spin dash shortly after, and this sort of thing will happen. So after doing the second spin dash, you need to time a tap jump, and you will just not stop and clear the zipper like this. But this is not, you don't have to do this. This is more of an advanced strat. It saves like a second, I believe. If you don't do this double spin dash, you would just run over and jump over this zipper as usual. And then you want to hop up here and head over to this spot. How I time this next jump is when I'm like in pretty much this exact position, like after collecting the first or second ring, I want to do a tap jump, because this maximizes my chances of having a good angle on this slope. So slope glitch, I probably should have explained earlier, but the way it works is when you take an angle of a slope or flat ground, I guess, you maintain that angle into like walls and stuff. So like say I'm walking on this flat ground, right? If I walk off, I'm maintaining the angle, right? So I'm just walking forward. Same goes for slopes. So I jump on this slope and I maintain the angle into the ground. Now I recommend pause buffering for this next part, so that you don't zip too far to the left. But you need to switch to not holding left. You need to switch to left at a certain point and start doing left taps while pause buffering to the right. And you want to stop on this pillar here, so on the foreground is what I look at. So kind of the pillars in the background, right? So the way I identify the pillar is the one after the one with this like laser light bulb thing. This is the one I want to stand on. And the reason why I want to stand here is because this window, the second last window, you want it to be partially off screen and partially on screen. Doesn't matter how much of it is off screen or on screen. Just part of it needs to be on screen, part of it needs to be off screen. And that's where the name window comes from for this strat. The key is to make sure you have not already loaded the boss, and the boss loads when you reach this pillar in the wall. That's the boss trigger. So you need to make sure you have not loaded the boss before getting into this position. From here you want to hold left, unpause and then repause, and then go back to that pillar. Same spot. And if everything is done correctly, you will be able to spin dash when the boss gets to you. And this lets you defeat the boss. To finish off this fight, you want to zip to the right by holding left. And then when you're out of the wall, you need to start doing left taps so that Sonic stands up and isn't in a rolling animation like this. And then you need to jump down at the right time. You can figure out some sort of audio key for that. You just want to jump down and finish the level like this. I guess I'll talk about a few optimizations as well. I'll talk about one more thing, another slight route alteration you can do. Actually, I'm just gonna rewind back to the point I wanna get to. So here, if you don't want to do the route I just showed, you want to make it a bit easier potentially for like a beginner. You want to just one tap and jump immediately after spin dashing, and then you want to stop on this conveyor belt. Charge your spin dash as usual, and wait for this conveyor belt to go below your spin dash point, because if it doesn't, then you will lose slope glitch when you touch it. And then release your spin dash, and just keep rolling until you reach this hook, and you can just jump into it. And you'll have slope glitch, so you'll need to jump again into this one, and then the rest of the level is as normal. And lastly, I might as well talk about this right now. If you're at the beginning, if you're having issues with the platforms at the beginning, you can do another alternate route, but this one involves killing the chicken, so it's slightly different. You want to kill this chicken and jump up here. Sometimes you just won't get this jump, but most of the time you will. Or most of the time, yeah. So you want to jump off the right side of that, like the chicken base. Then you want to break this shield and jump up and get hit by this chicken. And then you want to 6-tap. There's another chicken here, and you just want to run off. Maybe slow down a little bit so you don't hit this propeller. And then you want to run into this propeller. But make sure you do not spin dash with this route, because that messes up the messes this up. Killing the chicken at the beginning is actually part of a different strat, so you don't want to spin dash in this case, because that can mess up the manipulation. So you just want to walk over, and then the rest of the level is as normal. That's pretty much it for Wing Fortress. So let's move on to the last level, which is Death Egg. There's a lot to cover for this level, many different strats, but they all start off with the same fight at the beginning, which is Silver Sonic. So you want to 6-tap at the beginning and just run into the arena, and you want to get into this position here. So what I used to look at the position is in the background, the wall is kind of divided into sections by lines. So there's like kind of little columns of squares, and then there's the big like rectangular ones. So I want to stand like underneath where these, like in this column underneath these kind of, I don't know what these are, pipes I guess. You want to stand under these, and you want to charge a 1-tap spin dash and just hold it. And this will let you get 4 hits. And then you want to release your spin dash and walk over to the same spot, to the same kind of like, I mean, you're like on the right of these pipes, and it's like in front of this beam, I guess. And then you want to jump over Silver Sonic and wait for him to stop spinning, and then you want to jump into him. So that's a bit early, but you can get a timing for this fight. Another way to beat him, which some top runners do, is they roll into him. It's a bit early. This is really hard to do with pausing. They roll into him. Then they jump into him twice, and then they spin dash for the last hit. This can be faster, but it's also a lot riskier, so you don't have to go for this. After defeating him, oh yeah, also I should probably mention, if you kill him on a specific frame, there's a chance of you hard locking and also soft locking. So definitely be aware of that. If you want a safe kill, then you want to just jump later so that he is in this animation frame when you kill him. I believe the soft lock frame is the frame when he switches to this animation. So after this, you want to spin dash, wait for the screen to move, and then wait for this door to open. Now, one thing about this door is that it needs to be fully open before you can spin dash under it. So like, I'm trying to get this. So as you can see, the door, it looks like Sonic should be able to go under it, right? But if I release, sometimes you won't be able to go under it. Sometimes you will be, apparently, but sometimes you won't. You won't be able to. Like there, for example. Or there. As you can see, it looks like the same animation frame, but I'm just not able to go under it. So keep that in mind. And this is the fight that so many people struggle with at the beginning. There's many different variations to this fight, so I'm going to try to show off all of them. And we're going to start with 9-3, which is a 2-cycle. 9 hits in the first cycle and 3 hits in the second cycle. There's two main ways that people do this nowadays. I'll show off the one most people do first, and then the one certain people like me do. So if I starts off by getting 2 hits, and then you want to wait for him to move to where you can run. So when he starts moving his back foot here, you're going to run and you want to hit him in the behind. Then you want to wait and jump into his back. Not like that. You want to get 3 hits like this. Gosh, this is so hard to do with pausing. And for the last 3 hits, you want to go underneath him and get 3 hits. And that will give you 9 hits. So it kind of looks like this normally. And that will give you that gives you 9 hits. After this, you want to spin dash all the way to the right, and you want to wait for his target to lock on. Once that happens, you want to move to the left, and you want to stand kind of, I don't know if you can see in the background, like this like vertical pillar. You want to stand inside this pillar to where Sonic's inside. And you want to hit him as he is coming down. Also afterwards when he's going up. And for the last hit, you want to spin dash to get the 12th hit. And then spin dash out of the death egg, out of the level. So that's the first way to do this fight. These last 3 hits are probably the hardest part. If you're uncomfortable with this, you can find some other way to do them safer. But this is the fastest way, and it's not too difficult once you get the hang of it. The second variation is the one I use and a few other people, and it's the one I find easier. So you want to be very slightly facing left to where, like, there's only one pixel, I believe, that will actually kill you to his flame on the first hit, and it's if you're all the way to the right. So as long as you're facing left here and you're not on the first pixel, you're going to be fine. Get the first 2 hits. And now you want to wait for his body to stop moving here, like his upper body. Once it stops moving, after he lifts his second foot, that's when you want to jump. And you want to jump by holding left and jump at the same time. It's kind of like this. Then you get 3 hits in the back again. And 3 hits under him. And then the last 3 hits are as they were in the previous fight. Okay, that was the 9-3. Now let's talk about the 10-2. So that's 10 hits in the first cycle and 2 in the second one. This one is very similar to the first 9-3 variation. Sorry. So the first 3 hits are the same, and so is the 4th hit. But after hitting him, you want to hold left and get another hit in his behind. After getting that hit, you want to get 2 more hits in his back. Then go under him and get 3 hits. And then the last 2 hits are the same as they were for 9-3, except you don't need a spin dash at the end. And this saves 1 second over the 9-3 strat. Next up is the 11-1. This strat has 2 ways of performing it. One of which is, in my opinion, a lot harder, but so I'll talk about the more commonly used one first. So next up is 11-1. So 11-1 is 1 second faster than 10-2. So it saves pretty much no time while at the same time being much harder. So I would not recommend you go for this. There's 2 ways to do it, so I'll cover both of them. And I'll start with the one that most people do when they do 11-1. And it is like 12-0, but the beginning's like 12-0, and then the middle is like 10-2. So you want to hit him on his first frame for the first 2 hits, and then you want to time your 3rd hit. So what I look at for this hit is when his foot is kind of the bottom of his foot is kind of like Sonic's belly level. So this works, but this you could even go a bit later. I might die here, yeah. So you would want to kind of jump here, full jump, and then you need to time your left. You need to time a left hold so you hit him, and then as soon as you hit him, you got to release so that you go back far enough. You might even want to hold the right after hitting him a little. Kind of like that. The later you jump, the better, because you have more lenience with your hit. You can hit him a bit earlier and it will still work without you dying. But you don't want to go too late, otherwise you will die to his flame when you jump. After you clear his flame, you want to start holding right and hit him in his butt. And then you want to hit him behind. So pretty much the rest of this fight is just 10-2 after you get this hit. Now, the only difference between this and 10-2 in the ending is that you're just doing one less hit, so you just want to hit him as early as you can when he's coming down. And generally with this strat you're going to get a 49, although you can get a 48. And last but not least, or well, actually, let's talk about the second way to do this. So this other strat is pretty much 12-0, but without the third hit, so it makes it a little bit easier. And you need to, it's 10, so what I mean by that is it's 10-2, but you're adding an extra like third butt hit. So you're hitting him 3 times in the butt, 3 times in the back, and it adds an extra hit. But you need to be very tight on your hits, which is what makes it difficult. So start is the same as 10-2, but timing these hits is very difficult. You, after hitting him in the butt, you want to kind of go neutral for a bit until a certain point where you need to hold left and jump into him. There's no cues for this. You just need to get a feel for it, and it does take a while. Like, this takes a lot of practice. But this is good practice for 12-0, so I would recommend it. And then the last hit is the same. And this has the same speed, but in my opinion, much harder than the previous 11-1 variation. And last but not least, let's talk about 12-0. So there's two main strats I want to talk about for this. But before, let's explain what 12-0 is. So it's pretty much, instead of going for the second cycle and getting however many hits there, you just defeat him in one cycle. And it's essentially a combination of the two 11-1 strats and like their differences, so you just combine them. So you would do the third hit like you would in the first variation, and then also do the middle hits as you would in the second variation. And that's the first way of doing 12-0. This is, in my opinion, the harder one, mainly because the middle hits are a lot tighter and more difficult to do. So let's talk about the second way to do this fight. The beginning is the same, so the first 3 hits are as usual. But after this, you can be a bit more relaxed on these next 4 hits. You don't have to do them as tight. It's like 10-2 levels of tightness on these hits. Instead of going for the 8th hit here, you actually just do this hit like you would in 11-1 in the first variation. However, instead of going underneath him here, we're going to do something different. We're going to once again proceed to hit him in his back, but we're going to do it a bit differently than usual. So you jump as normal, but when you get close to his body, you want to slow yourself down by holding right, and then phase through him like this. And when you land, you want to get the last 3 hits, and you will barely be able to one cycle him. Now, this last hit is very difficult at first, and takes a lot of practice to do consistently, but in my opinion, it's much easier than doing the first wave 12-0. Although, not everyone will agree with me on that. This strat can also be used with the first 12-0 variation as well to make it even faster, and this can help get a 41. Although, it's not recommended since it just makes the fight even harder to save 1 second. But that's essentially 12-0. I mean, I can try to show what this fight looks like from the beginning as well with this variation. if I can get it. Apologies for the rewinding. I'm not the best at 12-0, so there's not much I can really do about that. But that's essentially Sonic 2. And I hope this guide helped you with learning this game in some way. And hopefully a better, more polished guide comes out one day, because there's quite a bit of background noise and stuff in this one. I apologize. When I was recording this guide, there was my house was quite busy those 3 days, so. But I hope you can overlook that and still use this guide to increase your potential with this game and maybe get a time on the boards that you're happy with. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for me, so thank you for watching, and good luck with Sonic 2.